Hello everyone, it's Sue Cook here, as you know, and I have my new friend Paul here.
Yes, new friend.
And I met Paul here at the Wellness Way Festival, and Paul edits a really beautiful magazine called Positive Life. And I went to a talk that he did the other day, and he was quoting from all the people that are my favourites. So that was really nice to meet you, Paul, and to hear about your inspirations. So if you were going to inspire people with one more quote from somebody, who would it be?
A quote from somebody, who would it be?
Yeah, from the people you've interviewed.
Yeah, so there's some great ones. There's Joe Dispenza, there's Eckhart Tolle. I suppose, one of a quote I spoke about was turn the other cheek. Do you remember I mentioned that?
Yeah.
And that obviously comes from one of our great teachers, which is the man himself, Jesus.
Yeah.
So turn the other cheek, I think, has a power to it, because it means whatever happens in your life, whatever's going on, that you turn the other cheek. In other words, you always focus on where you're going. You always use your imagination, use your emotions, use whatever you have to keep your eye on the direction you're going in your life. I think that's very powerful. That one just dropped in when you asked me that question.
Yeah, and also, who did you manifest that day when you watched a video? And then tell us about that.
Well, Barbara O'Neill was one of the headline speakers here this weekend. And I saw her on a video, and I was watching it at home, and I thought, wow, she's got some great information about hydration, putting salt on your tongue. And I thought I'd love to interview that woman, but she's in Australia. I'll have to probably send a couple of emails, see what happens. And I kind of just focused on it, and I thought it'll happen at some point. And about 2 hours later, I'm in a restaurant about just near my house. And I walk into the restaurant, and in the background I hear an Australian accent. And I turn around, and it's the woman I just saw on the YouTube video 2 hours ago, Barbara O'Neill.
That's manifestation right there.
That was like shit hot manifestation, as Philly J calls it. So I basically had an interview with her the very next day.
Amazing.
So unbelievable.
But you've put her on, haven't you, in Ireland?
Yes, we put her on twice now, and we're hosting her again September the 17th and 18th in the Britannia Church in Dublin. Yeah, really looking forward to that. Yeah. Great to meet you, and you do great work as well, Susan.
I do. I do the neurodevelopment.
Yeah.
So this weekend at the festival, I've been doing homeopathy, neurodevelopment, EMDR, and hypnotherapy. So all the things I practice, I've been doing.
Well done.
Even if it's only just one treatment of one thing, it's been everything I do. So it's been very helpful for people, hasn't it? 'Cause it's been. How did you enjoy the festival?
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was like, I said it over there a minute ago on a kind of a social media thing as well. It's almost like I saw a movie once, and it showed the future of the world. Everybody living in community and healing and harmony. And this festival was such nice people and such amazing products. Everything was for like the upliftment of human life and spirit. And it was just, wow. It's going to be on next year. I think tickets are going on sale next week. So get them. It's going to be way bigger next year, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's been such fun, hasn't it?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Great people. And you made me an egg mayonnaise sandwich yesterday, which
I forgot that.
Amazing.
Yeah, we've all been eating together, haven't we, and hanging out. And it's just been so nice having our little festival community.
Yeah. Just dropping around to different people, The people with the olive oil, Cheryl there, amazing.
Yeah, we've had so much fun. We're making new friends, haven't we? Mm-hmm. So how can people contact you, Paul?
So my website is positivelife.ie, and you can subscribe to the magazine, or you can find out about events there and pop over and see us in Ireland. Ireland's a great place too, and do come over sometime.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
See you again.
Teal Swan, I'm name dropping. Stop me name dropping. So there's been loads of them, but it's been like an education for me to find out all this incredible information. And the magazine is my way of curating it and giving it out to the public. But today in the talk, what I want to do is give you some of the best bits that I've learned over the years. And there's some kind of amazing little nuggets. And when I actually sit down recently to kind of compile them, I was like, I'm reminding myself of such incredible wisdom. So where I'd like to start today is just to do a short meditation. It is early morning. Best thing to do is just get us all centered. So I'd invite you all to just kind of feel your feet on the ground. And just feel your energy drop into your heart center. And you can place your hand on your heart if that feels good. And we'll take a couple of deep breaths together into our heart center. And just on the out breath, just feel your whole body relax into the ground. Nice deep breaths into your stomach, and on the out breath, just feel the whole body relax into the ground. And really feel the shift when you go into your heart center. It's a different energy than your head. It's got a much more spacious feeling. And you're dealing with feeling, you're dealing with emotions rather than thoughts. So just check in now into your heart center and see how you're feeling in this moment. And keep focused on your breath in and out of the heart center. And now just see a little light go on in your heart center, a little divine spark. And as you breathe into that divine spark, just see it light up and kind of go all around your body, lighting up all your cells. And just invite your heart now to send a bit of love all around your body. And just fill your body up with light and love. And as you step in, as you're in the heart center now, I invite you to stay in this center for the rest of the talk. So whatever you hear today, just whatever resonates, take it away. Whatever doesn't resonate, just let it go. No need for judgments or thoughts, just stay in your heart center. It's a great place to live from. And as you're in your heart now, we're going to finish off with a short little exercise here as well. Just if you think of somebody in your life that may be struggling right now, maybe having a tough time, and you want to send them a bit of this energy, just see your heart connect with theirs, and we'll send them some love from your heart to theirs. And just see them surrounded by light, and see some ease and some peace come into their lives. Just see them have a smile on their face as they navigate their changes or whatever's going on for them. And just feel your own connection with them. And as you think of this person, bring a big smile to your face. Let that smile light up your whole body, from your heart to your face, to your cells, to your eyes. Everything just lovely and bright and bouncy. And we'll take one more deep breath together. Now disconnect from that person and bring your energy back into your own heart center. Feel your feet grounded on the floor and feel yourself 100% back in the present moment. And feel yourself in your heart. And when you're ready, feel free to open your eyes and bring a big, nice smile to your face. Okay? Feel nice?
Yes.
Good, good. That's like a very simple exercise that I do at my events when we have big groups or small groups, whatever we have. And what I feel is it kind of sets the stage and it sets a frequency. And this is the first person I wanted to talk about that I interviewed, a guy called Joe Dispenza. Some people might know him. So what I was very impressed about him is the fact that we can actually affect our own frequency. So we can choose the frequency that we wish to inhabit at any given time. because the way life kind of rolls at us, we actually find it hard to believe that we can do that. But we just did it there in that exercise. You felt that you were kind of moving into a space that was non-linear, you were in the present moment, and you were in your heart center. So when I interviewed Dr. Joe Dispenza on 2 occasions, and I was just so impressed with his work. I've read a book of his called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Anybody here read that book? It's quite a stunning book. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today was, from inspired by Dr. Joe, is our own personalities. So we have a personality structure, which kind of runs our life based on past experiences, fears, whatever might happen in the future, and obviously traumas that we may have experienced. So we kind of store them in the body, and every time we come to a similar experience, we kind of presuppose that the same thing is going to happen again. So in a way, this might sound kind of controversial, what Dr. Joe says, but he'll actually say to people that you're the problem. You know, your personality is causing a lot of your own problems. So I suppose what he's inviting people to do, and what I do in my own meditations, is to try and step in, not try to do it actually, is to step into a place of empowering yourself and choosing the frequency that you wish to inhabit. Because as I've researched so many different areas of spirituality throughout my life, it's definitely the frequency within us that will dictate how the reality presents itself to us. Okay, that's simple. It's the law of attraction. We've heard it a million times before, but I'm sure you've all experienced this in practice, that if you're going around in a negative state of mind, if you're complaining about the world, if you're feeling hard done by, how does the world reflect back to you? Any answers on that one?
Negatively.
Yes. So very simple equation. So if you take the time in the mornings, which I would say is a good time to meditate, and actually change your own frequency. And how you do that is we can all access good emotions. We can all access good thoughts. If it's about your pet dog, if it's about your mother, if it's about your relationship, whatever you have that's clean and simple and easy to access, do that and get yourself into a higher frequency. Even if you want to connect with a higher power and send it love and feel that transmission, whatever you can do in the mornings to start your day to move yourself into a higher frequency will then reflect back to you in reality. And I would really recommend, if you haven't read, I'm going to give some book tips today, but that will be one of my book tips, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's an excellent book and a great place to start if you're looking to kind of become aware of your personality and the patterns that it's holding you in. And release those patterns by, first of all, becoming aware of them, and then secondly, learning how to activate your own higher frequency emotions. Okay, so that's my first piece on Dr. Joe, an amazing teacher in the world, and someone I really, really recommend. If you haven't come across him, definitely study his work. So the other guy I'd like to talk about that I interviewed was Eckhart Tolle. Have people come across him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So has anybody read the book, The Power of Now? Yeah. So when I interviewed Eckhart Tolle, what I thought was, I kind of messed around with him a little bit. I said, come on, Eckhart, you must think about next week or last week or something. You can't always be in the now. And he was like, yeah, I'm always in the now. I just love the now. And I asked him, if you were speaking to 10,000 people and you were on stage at 8 o'clock and it's 7 o'clock, what are you doing? And he said, it's 7 o'clock, I'm not even thinking about being on stage. He says he does no preparation. He just walks out at 8 o'clock and he goes right into the present moment. And I remember thinking, that just can't be possible. You'd have to prepare to do a talk at 8 o'clock. You'd have to research. I said, you must do something. He said, no, I just tend to relax. Maybe look at the flowers in the garden, or as I'm driving to the venue, just take in everything, you know. And I said, how do you stay in the present moment? And he said, you know, feel the breath on your face. You know, feel the air on your face. Feel your breath coming in through your nose. Use peripheral vision, because when you take in the broader awareness of what's here, it brings you right into the moment of now. So he's constantly in the moment of now. And then I went to see him do a talk, and he walked out on stage, sat on a chair, like Mr. Bean. You know, that's kind of his, I don't know if you've seen him live, but he has a very funny personality. And he sits on the chair, like with a little jumper on, And he said, like, some people have been dragged here tonight, and some people probably don't want to be here to see a little old man in a jumper tell some stories, you know? So, and then he invited everybody to kind of step into that now moment. And what I wanted to say about the now moment is, and this is what I've discovered about it myself recently, is that I would look upon it as it's like the generous present moment. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you're driving around during your day or going to see your friend or going to work and you're thinking thoughts as you're doing your tasks. You're thinking, I should have done that, I wish I'd have done that. All these kind of, some of them are negative, some of them are positive, but they're just distracting you from the now. And what I'd like you to invite you to do the next time that you feel those thoughts coming at you is to kind of replace it with the now. So the now can seem like it's kind of transient and, you know, it's like, how do I access the now? But just say to yourself that the now moment, the reason that it's better than thinking all those unconscious thoughts is because it offers you the chance of peace. So it's replacing what you're doing with all this dialogue with actual peace. So I just invite you for just like literally a minute to just step into this now moment right now and use whatever, feel the breath in your body, just look around you and feel your peripheral vision and just get a sense that you're right here, right now, and feel the peace that comes into your body when you don't have to think. And it does have a slight quality to it. Do you feel like it feels like, obviously I'm doing a talk, so I'm definitely in the now, right now. I'm here and I'm looking at you guys. But it just, I was going through a hard time when I interviewed him. So I was actually I had an anxious feeling in my body as I was talking to him. So all of the things he was telling me, I was not practicing, even though I was in the interview with him. And I said to him, the reason I asked this question, what hope would you give someone who's going through a hard time? Because I was looking for hope myself. And his answer really, really surprised me. He said, I would never give anybody hope. And I thought, oh, that's me stumped. I'm stumped. And he said, the reason I say that is because hope is a projection into the future, where you're grasping for a future outcome. And he said, what I would say to the person is, look around you. Where are you sitting? Do you have shelter? Do you have the breath coming into your body? Do you have other people in your life who you love? And he when I was in the studio, his voice was coming through he was in Canada and I was in Ireland, and his voice was coming through. And he just brought me into this now moment where all of the problems that I had seemed to just melt away. And I remember thinking, I hope he doesn't leave me now, because if he leaves me, if Eckhart goes, I'm back to me again, you know. But in that moment, when he guided me into the now moment, which we just did before I explained this, I saw the reason why hope, because hope seems like a lovely thing. Hope seems like a nice thing to give somebody. But if you can always bring it back to the now and remind the person who's going through a tough time that actually they have a lot to be thankful for right in this very moment. So yeah, so that's my piece on Eckhart. He was an extraordinary man to interview. I would say probably one of the highest vibrational people I've come across. When you meet him in person, he actually stands in front of you and says nothing. He just kind of goes like this. And you're like, do I need to entertain this guy? Do I need to do something? And you just kind of, when you get used to him, you just kind of eye gaze him back, and it's just a lot of nodding. So it's almost like he's saying, do you see how beautiful this world is? Do you see how beautiful we are in this moment? And you feel that in your heart as you're talking to him, you know? So yeah, so he was a really, really special guy to interview. And if you haven't read the book, The Power of Now, that's an absolute gem of a book. Has anybody read it?
No, bits of it.
Half of it, okay. Read the other half, it's better than the first half. Was it the first half you read? Read the second half. Try and stay in the now though when you read it, okay?
That's the thing, you read it and you think, I don't know what I've read, I've got to read that page again.
Because your thoughts are coming
There are
in.
many things
In your head. In your head. Okay. Okay. Were you here when we did the little exercise, the power in them?
Sorry, no, I didn't.
Okay, we'll do some more at the end. I'm going to solve that problem for you forever.
Right, okay, they're on.
Okay, and it's free. It's free. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to move on to somebody now. Affirmations and gratitude. Have you heard of Louise Hay? Okay, so she's the matriarch, I would say, or was the matriarch before she passed, of, like, she set up a company called Hay House, and it was the biggest publisher of spiritual books in the world. And we approached her to do an interview, and we got a no. She's like approaching 80, she's doing no more interviews, it's not going to happen. And when I was doing the magazine, I had a playful attitude to the magazine. I took it over in 2007, and I thought to myself, I can ask anybody, because I'm Irish, and we kind of have a bit of what we call neck in Ireland. So we have the neck to ask anybody anything. And so I would just ask crazy people, Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, could you want to do an interview? And they were all coming back saying yes. But Louise Hay was not saying yes, okay? So I thought, what am I going to do here? I got to apply all my powers of manifestation. So I'd sit down and focus on her saying yes, whatever, you know, and seeing myself talking to Louise Hay, and it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So what I'm doing is, as I talk about my work with the magazine, I'm weaving in some manifestation techniques for you to grasp, because they're really, really good. And I saw them play out in action. So I go to a talk, I'm hosting a talk, and it's on the work of Louise Hay. It's called Heal Your Life, and I'm hosting it. And there's a lady there called Patricia, I can't remember her surname. She'd flown in from Los Angeles. So I go to the event and I host her, and it's a lovely event, and it's talking about affirmations and gratitude. And at the end I say to her, you know, I'd love to interview Louise for my magazine. It's called Positive Life. And she said, I'm friends with Louise. I'm meeting her when I go back to LA for lunch. And I said to her, you're messing. And she goes, no, we're mates for years, because I'm doing her work about 25 years. Would you like me to interview her for the magazine for you? So it wasn't me interviewing her, but this lady was going to do it for me. So about 2 weeks later, I get an audio recording, and I'll send it all to you here if you give me your email at the end, of Louise Hay having lunch with Patricia. And Patricia says to her, she has the recording, and she goes, so my name is Patricia, I'm here with Louise Hay, we're having lunch in a cafe in Los Angeles, and I'm interviewing her on behalf of Positive Life magazine in Dublin, Ireland, for Paul. And Louise Hay then goes on to chat to her for about 25 minutes, and we have it on our website, which is positivelife.ie, and it's just the most beautiful, I think it's the last interview she ever did, and it was just an amazing manifestation. And what I want to say about manifestation is, when you have, you know, when you're playful with something and you say to yourself, I visualize this happening, I'm grateful that this has already happened, and you don't have any blocks in the equation, you just really believe it can happen. And with the magazine, obviously, it didn't really matter if we didn't interview Louise Hay. It wasn't like, you know, sometimes like a relationship or a house can be a big thing, or a job, and we might have blocks in our system there, so we have to work on those blocks. But when it's playful and just easy, the manifestation and the flow just comes beautifully. So if we can apply that playfulness to the bigger things, I think that's really, really powerful. And that's, you know, that's what I'd like to say about the story with Louise Hay, because it was impossible to get the interview through the normal channels. And to meet that lady who then goes and has lunch with her was just amazing. And now what I find amazing is she asked her, what is your favorite, she asked Louise Hay, what is Louise's favorite affirmation of all time, since she was doing affirmations since the 1960s or 70s. So do you want to hear Louise Hay's favorite affirmation of all time? You do? Yeah. Okay. You ready for this? All of life loves me and supports me. That was her favorite affirmation for all her life. So we try it together now? Let's say it, yeah? Ready? 1, 2, 3. All of life loves me and supports me. All of life loves me and supports me. All of life loves me and supports me. How does that feel?
Amazing.
Good. It's quite huge, actually.
Yeah? Yeah, it's a nice feeling, you know? It's a nice feeling. So yeah, so Manifestation. Have people come across, obviously, The Secret, the Law of Attraction, all this kind of work? Has anybody ever heard of Florence Scovel Shinn?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
There's a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It.
Yeah.
And I'd really recommend that book. That's a playful kind of attitude to manifestation. Every time she talks about manifesting something, she says, just let it go. Think about it, feel like it's already happened, be grateful that it's in your life, and just let it go. And then watch what happens. And just adopt a playful attitude to it. That's a really, really beautiful book. So, yeah. So I'm going to move on to one of my favorite teachers of all time, which I never got to interview, but I still am going to stay in the zone that it's going to happen. Abraham Hicks. Have people come across Abraham Hicks?
Yeah.
That is incredible work, and it's really around, again, the law of attraction, and again, frequency, and again, staying in the, I mean, their advice is very, very simple and very to the point. It's just be as happy. Your job is to be as happy as you possibly can, using whatever tools you can to stay on a high, high frequency, and then watch how life plays back to you. And if you haven't come across their work, really, really look into it. And they have some incredible books as well. Ask and It Is Given would be one of the highlights. I'm planning to bring them to Ireland. I'm believing it's going to happen, so I'm going to stay in the zone. I think they've been in London a couple of times. They tend to go to Amsterdam and America, but if you ever get a chance to see them, just incredible work. I'm on here till about 9 o'clock, so I will stop about 10 minutes from the end for a few questions if anybody wants to ask some questions. I'm going to talk about people I've interviewed, but also some of the top tips I've come across. And one of the main things that I find is the nervous system. When you're working with spirituality, it's all well and good to try and think positive. But if you don't have a calm nervous system, it's very hard to access those thoughts, those peaceful, kind, nice thoughts. So if you can calm your nervous system, because we're all in this world and we have to survive. And when you're in the game of survival, your nervous system becomes overactive. So has anybody here, hands up if you've tried breath work in the past? Okay. So we're going to practice a little bit of breath work. The reason I bring up breath work is because I've used it in my own life, and I found it absolutely incredible for calming me down. And then what I noticed was that I didn't get as many negative thoughts. When I was driving my car, going somewhere, and I'm having all these thoughts go through my head, I was like, why am I having these unconscious thoughts constantly? And I was trying to change the thoughts in the car. And then what I decided to do was I would do breath work before I left, and I would notice when I'm in the car, I wasn't getting as many thoughts. So slowing down the whole nervous system, balancing your nervous system and bringing it into a calm state will actually correct the thoughts. So you don't have to go into the whole mind thing. You can do it through your body, through your nervous system. So I've interviewed Wim Hof, and I've also interviewed some breathwork experts throughout my life, and I found it to be an incredible tool. So we're going to do what's called vagus nerve breathing, and we're just going to do it for about 3 minutes so you can get a taste of it. And we're just going to breathe in through our nose for 4 seconds and out through our nose for 6 seconds. Okay? So we'll begin now. Ready? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then out through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Out through your nose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now keep going with that rhythm. In for 4 through your nose, and out for 4 through your nose. Out for 6 through your nose, sorry. And just feel how your body starts to relax. You're basically sending a message to your nervous system and your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is one of the biggest nerves in your body. It controls rest, it controls digestion. And out for 6 through the nose, you're saying to your body, I'm safe. And you can state that affirmation if you want. Repeat it 3 times to yourself. I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. And we're going to practice now for 1 more minute. And when you're ready, just open your eyes with a smile on your face. Keep smiles. So would anybody like to share how that felt? Any vibes there? Felt calm? Okay. Anybody else? Grounding as well? Felt peaceful? Nice. Okay. So what it's like, it's a beautiful hack because you're actually telling your body before you leave for the day, I'm doing good, I'm okay, everything's okay, because you're actually dealing with the animal part of yourself. That when you know when you're out, it's called fight or flight. You know all about that, how that reacts, and it can take over your system. So what you're doing is you're calming that whole system before you leave the house, and then you'll be amazed at how the world plays out. And what you're doing, you know, when we say like, how can I change the world? How can I make the world a better place? Like it seems like a big, overwhelming job, but actually, by calming your own nervous system, it's going to make you kinder, it's going to make you more considerate, it's going to make you more loving, it's going to make you more balanced in your family. If you were to do like 10 minutes breath work a day, and you go see somebody who might be a trigger for you, they're not going to get the same response from your energy field anymore, because you're going to walk in calm, and they're going to go, what's going on with this? Why are they doing this? And they'll start to reflect back to you what you're reflecting to them. Sometimes we think we blame or we get triggered by somebody, but really it's we're in relationship with them. So if we change our frequency, they're going to change theirs, because they're not going to be able to do the same dance, you know? Try that out with somebody that you might have a bit of trickiness with, and you'll see it as well if you send them love in advance before you go to a tricky meeting, or say you have a boss or whatever it is. Send them love, which might sound like I'm not sending them love, you know? But when you do it, I think love is like a superpower. It's not a weak thing, it's a superpower, you know, in the world. I have a friend and he runs a group called Superhero Satsang, and it's kind of like he actually does that as an exercise where he sends love to people who are, you know, what we did at the beginning. We did some at the beginning. And you'll really see, if you have someone tricky in your life, send them love over the next while and see how the relationship becomes affected by that. I just want to finish off on the breath work. Breathing through the nose is very, very important, because when you breathe through the mouth, you actually activate more stress chemicals in the body. So breathing through the nose is where you want to be. And I actually do this thing at night. I mouth tape. Has anybody heard of that? Yeah. Okay, do you do it yourself? Yeah. So it looks a bit nuts, right? But I would encourage you to give it a go. You can buy mouth tape that just goes around here, so you don't have to block your mouth. I just use one I get from the chemist, and I put it right across there. And when I'm asleep at night, here's what I noticed. I would sleep right the way through. I wouldn't wake up during the night. And also, there's a book that I recommend by James Nestor called Breathe. I think it's Breath, actually. And he got all his markers measured, his health markers, and every single one of them rebalanced and improved after 3 months of just simply mouth taping. So it's an incredible health hack, and that book is genius, because he actually He does what Joe Dispenza does. When he does a technique, he wants to see what it's doing in his body. So he goes and he gets it measured and he gets it backed up by science. So that book, highly, highly recommended. And mouth taping, I don't know, go home and if your husband or your wife is in bed beside you and you stick some mouth tape on, they're going to look at you like you're a lunatic. Don't do duct tape, obviously, just do ordinary chemist tape. But try it out for the crack. It's really, really... Yeah, have you heard of the crack, by the way? It's an Irish word. Yeah, okay, let's have the crack. Okay. So it's another word for fun, not for what the Americans think it is. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about gratitude as well. So I'm going to do a little small gratitude exercise as well. So can anybody think of anything they're grateful for in their life right now?
Being here.
Being here? Okay. Okay.
My daughter.
Your daughter, beautiful.
I'm going to say my son.
Your son, what's your son's name?
Manu.
Manu, is that Emmanuel?
No, just Manu.
Manu?
Yeah.
Okay, hey Manu. How's it going? What are you grateful for? Your family. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Anybody else? Breath. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so I would encourage you, as an exercise, if you don't do it already, to write down 3 things in the morning that you're grateful for every day. And then in the evening, before you go to bed, 3 things that happened that day that you're grateful for. And what this does, and this is all proven with neuroplasticity now, you're actually rewiring your brain to lean more towards gratitude. That's a very basic tip, but a lot of people, even in spiritual circles, don't take the time to do it. So if you have a meditation time, or before you're winding down at night, just buy a little journal, 3 things every day. If you can do it twice a day, great, only once a day, but you will notice over time a cumulative effect. And when you write these things down, you go, geez, I forgot about that, I can't believe, like simple things that happened. And some of the most powerful things are little exchanges with people. I think kindness is a really beautiful currency now, and I go out of my way as much as possible to do things for people. Somebody I interviewed, I can't remember who said this to me, I think it was like one of these Indian guru types. We interviewed Sadhguru as well. And he said to me that service was the highest form of divinity. So when you move into a place where you let go of all your own stuff and you say, how can I help somebody else? How can I give somebody else some peace in their lives, some healing in their lives? You feel a relief that you've let go of your own stuff. Does anybody feel that? The moment you switch to humanity or a friend or your partner, whoever it is that you can help, you let go of your own baggage and you just step into a different place. So I encourage you as much as possible to think about service and what you can do for other people. Okay, so anybody heard of Bruce Lipton?
Yeah.
He is the absolute crack, that fella. He's 80 years of age, right? And we've had him do 2 events with us in the last 4 or 5 years, and I've interviewed him a couple of times. Now, when I say interviewed, I didn't get a word in. I said, hey Bruce, what's the crack? And he's off and running. He's telling me the whole thing about what he discovered. But if you've heard about his book, Biology of Belief, that's another book. I'm dropping books all the way through the talk because there was a guy on here last night at the Sovereignty talk, and he told a story, or he was saying, what's the best thing you can do? Study, study, study. Read audiobooks, whatever it is. But the Biology of Belief, the main kernel of Bruce's wisdom is this. In the world right now, in the medical profession, they will tell you if your mother had a serious disease, it's likely you're going to have it, okay? That's on a simple equation. Bruce says that's not so, okay? He was in studying this on a big screen. He was with all these doctors in Los Angeles, and he sees it's not the environment. It's not the actual, it's not genetic. It's not genetic. We are actually affected by our own thoughts, we are affected by our own feelings, and we are affected by our environment. Okay, so he said that those gene markers do not need to be turned on. You can basically affect them yourself. If you send love every day to your own cells in your body, the likelihood of illness is not going to happen. But the medical profession have people believe that, oh, this is in my family, I'm going to get this. But what Bruce was saying is the reason that people get it is because they grow up being told by their mother or their father, it's probably likely you're going to get this. Then they go to the family doctor, and the family doctor says the same thing. So you have this thought, it superimposes on the house about you're probably going to have a heart problem, you're probably going to have a cancer problem. And can you see the power of this thought that comes into the family? And Bruce Lipton just comes in and says, that's all bullshit, and that's the way he goes on. He's very matter of fact, and he went to all the doctors, and he said to them, it's total bullshit. And then he gets completely marginalised, nobody's talking to him, and he's like put in as a quack. And now he goes around the world at 80, I think he's 81 now, and he just gets up on stage. We had him on stage for 7 hours, and I asked him to take a lunch break. I had to stand in the corner like this, Bruce, it's lunchtime. No, Paul, I'm fine, man, I don't need any lunch. And there was about 500 people there, and I said, I think they might need a bit of lunch though, Bruce. Or maybe go to the bathroom. You think? And he just let them all go. But his energy and his passion for this work is incredible. And I like what he's saying, the main kernel of his message. Do people, what I just said there, do people believe that's true? Or what's your thoughts around that one?
No, I do believe that.
You do believe it, yeah?
And also things have changed. I mean, I think about my mother who's been she's had dementia now for 14 years. And bless her, I mean, she's, completely crippled in a wheelchair, dribbling, doesn't know anything, can't talk or anything. I mean, if it was a dog, you put it down sort of thing. And she, you think of all the things like she cooks with aluminium all her life. And aluminium pan, and all of the lifestyle, in the 60s, 70s, all the processed food. I mean, there's so many things that she was brought up with, which we don't have now, or we do have, but we don't choose not to use it. So you can change a certain amount of stuff. Yeah, I mean, she had cancer, and she got through it anyway. But her mum and dad died of cancer, but they were furriers, so they died. But that's because they were working with it all the day, and they died at 51.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean to say that I'm going to.
Yes, well done.
And
yeah.
I don't feel that I'm going to. I feel
Okay.
exceptionally healthy, and I don't think I actually keep manifesting, and I keep having this dream that I'm going to live to 103. So I've just got to work out how I can afford it.
103, nice work. Excellent, brilliant, yeah.
So no, I think you definitely can change. If you're willing to look at how you treat your body, then I definitely think you could change what the outcome is.
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned Joe Dispenza at the beginning, he's actually documenting cases of people reversing by simply doing meditation and focusing on beautiful feelings.
Yeah.
And I think in one of his books, this guy was told he was going to die, and he went home and just watched Laurel and Hardy movies for 3 months with his children and his wife. And because he just thought, I love Laurel and Hardy and I might as well just laugh and have fun. And he went out and enjoyed himself, and he went back for a test and it was gone. So that's like nuts, and all he did, that's all he did. He didn't do any he didn't do major lifestyle changes. I think he might have eaten a bit healthier, but he just said, I'll have a laugh with the family before I go. And he's now still alive, this man. And that's just an incredible story. That guy didn't even meditate. He just went Laurel and Hardy. Laurel and Hardy are good though. I haven't interviewed them, You gotta go to the next dimension to do that. Okay, so Barbara O'Neill. People have heard of Barbara O'Neill?
Yeah.
Well, of course, she's on today, right?
Sorry, yesterday.
Yesterday, and she's on today as well. So I have a mad Barbara O'Neill story. So I was sitting at home and I'm researching for the magazine, and one of the tips I wanted to talk about today is actually a Barbara O'Neill tip. So I'm going to steal one of her tips, but I think it's golden. I'm watching this Australian lady who I didn't know. This was maybe 4 years ago. I think she's kind of really exploded in the last while. TikTok went crazy with her. But anyway, I'm watching this video, an Australian accent, and she's talking, remember that movie Crocodile Dundee or something? It's kind of like that. And she's chatting away and she says, when you drink water, in order to hydrate your cells to the maximum capacity, get yourself some Celtic salt, put it under your tongue, and as you drink the water, the salt enables the water to go more into the cell, okay? So I was listening to this and I thought, because I love water, I love enhancing my water as much as possible. So I alkalize the water, I structure my water, go crazy with it, do as much as I can. Filter, alkalize, structure. And I'll give you, at the end, I'm going to give you some gadgets that I would really recommend, incredible gadgets that you can have to enhance your health as well. So I see Barbara talking about the salt under the tongue, and I say, that's a genius tip. So like, we have Celtic salt in Ireland, sea salt, whatever top quality you can get. It has loads of minerals in it, so you're getting your magnesium and your minerals, and you're hydrating your cells to a much higher capacity, okay? So I looked at it and I thought, genius, this woman is brilliant. I'd love to interview this woman, you know? And it's about 12 noon in the day. And I say, I'd love to interview, I want to interview this woman. I got to contact her in Australia. I look up her details and I say, oh, it's time difference. Okay, I'll catch her again. So I head down to a place we have in Ireland called the Happy Pear. It's a very healthy restaurant for lunch. And I'm standing in the restaurant. This is an hour later. I'm standing in the restaurant and I'm getting some groceries, you know? And I hear an Australian accent on the left-hand side of me. And I just kind of look away and I see this woman and she's chatting to someone about vegetables or something. And I just go, I just saw her on YouTube. No, it couldn't be the same person. It couldn't be the same person. So I just go over and I say, excuse me, are you the lady who goes on about salt, putting it under your tongue and all? Are you is your name Barbara? And she kind of goes, yeah mate, that's me. And I go, I just saw you on YouTube an hour ago talking about hydrating, and you're here in the... And she said, I'm doing a tour of Ireland, or I'm doing a tour of Europe because I have to get out of Australia, because I think at the time she was kind of banned or something. So she's travelling around the world, and I said, you're in front of me in Greystones in Wicklow in Ireland. I said, I want to interview you. So I meet her the next day in a hairdresser's, because that's the only place I could get to record the interview. And I spent an hour with her, chatting with her. And the hilarious part of this story is I host her when she comes to Ireland. So we've done 3 events together, and they've been incredible events. And Barbara has exploded in Ireland. Like, I think we have about 600 people going to see her in Dublin. When I get back, we have her for a 2-day workshop, September the 17th and 18th, in a massive big venue. It's a church, and we're hoping to have maybe 1,000 people. So I've worked with her several times since that story. But that again, it reminds me, because I'm so playful with the magazine, and I really believe in some way that the magazine is kind of guiding me, or there's a higher power helping me to get these things to happen. That when a manifestation comes like that, and how easy it is, that I have to remind myself with this, you know, things that I take more seriously in life, to adopt that same playful attitude, to just go, this can happen, you know. And we've one mad final story about Barbara as well. When we were doing the event with her after COVID, we got a call from the venue. We had about 600 people going. A week before the event, we got a call saying the venue doesn't want to host her. It was some complaint. They were getting complaints from the Irish media. So the event was shut down with a week to go. And I'm like standing in my house in Wicklow, and I thought, I've 600 people going to this gig, and this guy's telling me he's going to cancel. And this just I don't know, does anybody hear voices sometimes, just like intuition or a higher power, whatever it was, said to me, turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. Which is a quote from Jesus, who we all know and love, yeah? Or whatever you want to call him, Yeshua. And I thought, turn the other cheek. But this venue, I could get on and complain. Don't complain to anybody. Turn the other cheek. So I have a week to go. I just turned the other cheek. And what I got from it was, instead of it being a weakness, as in turn the other cheek, it's turn your cheek and focus on where you want to go. Focus on what you're doing and how you want to do it. Don't entertain any of that. Don't get into resistance. Don't get into a fight. Just turn and face where you're going. And I did that. And the next day we got a call from someone who loves Barbara, and he said, I have a church in Blanchardstown that holds 1,000 people. I'll give it to you for Barbara O'Neill. Now, he didn't give it to me for free, but we had a venue within 24 hours. We emailed everybody and we said the venue was switched to the Britannia Church in Blanchardstown. And on the day of the event, when I introduced Barbara, I told a little bit about that story, how I met her. And then I played, you know, the music from Mission Impossible? Yeah. Because I said, last week this was a Mission Impossible, but now it's happening. And I went into a total Martin Luther King moment where I was like, they're not going to stop us. We're going to gather. We're full of love, you know? And yeah, so that was a great experience. And I'll be going to see Barbara today. And she's, if you haven't seen her, amazing woman, amazing. And so humble, like so humble. Beautiful lady. So yeah.